What's going on, everybody? Bobby Fye and Eric Sheethaber. We're going to be talking through this 6-game NBA slate. They have the $5 lottery on FanDuel today. Just throwing that out there because it's a little more fun. You can play around with all the SaberSim stuff, and I'm definitely going to be doing at least some of that. Sheets, any overall thoughts? I know we lost Jokic since we first spoke, which we sort of were kind of expecting, but not totally sure of. Any overall thoughts before we, just start talk through what you like about the slate?
We were still waiting on a little bit of news. Boston, did we get Pritchard yet?
He's in.
Did we get LeVert yet for Cleveland?
Not officially.
All right. Well, that's got to come soon, right?
Yeah.
So that was that, and there was also waiting on Rui from the Laker game.
Yes, Rui is probably not. My guess is I don't know. We may not know that one, unfortunately, by lock. That's just what I think will happen, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Just a guess. One thing I decided to go out of my way and try to add players from the Boston side. I think that this game it's a big deal, this game for them. I mean, obviously, the Cavs are undefeated, and you've got a lot of people in Boston. I still want to be the best team in the East, and also I do think that the people are so far. I feel like the games have been much more intense when they do the in-season tournament or the NBA Cup or whatever. These are NBA Cup games tonight. I just feel like that's a game I wanted to make sure to go out of my way to say, okay, after the projections, I know I want some Tatum, I know I want some Jaylen Brown, I know I want some Garland, I know I want some of what's his name of Mitchell.
That's interesting.
I just think it's one that matters.
Yeah, I was thinking of it a little differently. I was thinking that Celtics guy, that Celtics coach is pretty zen. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if he might just say this is just another game. Whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters with the players. They're going to go out there and shoot 500 threes anyway. And we've seen Tatum take, the prices may not be exactly where you want them to be, but 10-1, reasonable enough. He certainly has a ceiling there. So does Mitchell on the other side. And I just have a feeling that's going to be a good one. And for what it's worth, I bet on Cleveland to win that game. Continue.
So I have another. So I also have another take. So who is? Do we know who's starting for New Orleans? In other words, forget that. Who would be like the guys that would be on the court that they would really need to score? So like besides Brandon Ingram.
The biggest one is Trey Murphy by a pretty good amount, I think. And I think that obviously Ingram, but he's, you mentioned him, but I'm not getting to any of that. I think Dallas wins this game, I think fairly handily. I am getting some Jamal Cain, backup guard there. And I think if Noel was a little bit cheaper, I would have gotten to him. But it's a good question because they don't have a whole lot of shot creators. So if the game stays close, it should be Murphy and Cain. I'm sorry, Murphy and Ingram.
Well, I'm kind of inclined. I mean, this is probably all factored into the line. Otherwise, I would say I would bet New Orleans just straight up. With the line, they're 1-0. Okay, in this playing thing,
yeah,
and point differential is going to matter here. So it's possible that they really try their hardest to keep the game close at come hell or high water. So. If point differential is going to matter. So if that's the case, I think game scripts where the game stays close are pretty live, which means the New Orleans, whoever the top guys are, and then it brings Luka into play a little bit more. So I'm kind of into that idea. Yeah.
And people are popping in. By the way, Okoro and LeVert are both out now, and Merrill is in for what it's worth. So I think
that's a big deal.
Yeah, Merrill is going to look like a better play. And I give a boost to Mitchell and Garland the most with LeVert out. That's the ones I'll look at the most. But I'll take a look and see what the projections say in a little bit. But those are somewhat significant. So we'll rerun that. And TJ always asks a question like this in the chat: do you trust Cam Thomas? I hate when people ask that. I hate, is there a lock guy, or I hate, do you trust? Because with a guy who's a high volume shooter with a huge range of outcomes, trust is not the word. The answer is I'm playing him 40%.
So the answer is yes.
That's my answer. That doesn't mean I trust him. and that number might be lowered after this latest news. Brendan, I'm not gonna comment on the Ty Jerome for right now. I'm gonna wait till we see some projections and actually get an idea of what might be happening. Hopefully, we'll get a starting lineup. But yeah, my guess is that Ty Jerome is going to look like a reasonable play, and my guess is that Sam Merrill will make some sense as well. Potentially even Craig Porter Jr., who is the minimum cost. I think you could potentially consider, but I want to see what the projections say before I comment on it officially.
I think Ty Jerome's going to be really good today. The other thing is that we talked earlier about maybe these this Memphis centers. Haven't really seen anything new on that. I'm very into playing Collins though. Not John Collins. Zach Collins.
Yes, same. Agreed. Zach Collins, he's one of my core guys today, and the projections have gone up on him a little bit throughout the day. You have the cheap spend downs at center now with no Jokic, with Saric and Collins would be the two guys I'm looking at. Collins actually has power forward eligibility, I believe, as well. So the one play I didn't get to much of, like these Jay Huffs and the things like that, I didn't get to much of that Memphis stuff, and just maybe a mistake or maybe not. I'm curious where you are with that game, because I'm going to end up with a little bit of Brandon Clark, I think, but maybe I should end up with a little bit of Huff as well. And I liked the Bane idea a little bit too. So maybe I do want to get a little more exposure to that game. But what are your thoughts on the Denver side?
Again, this all depends on what goes on with, how the Cleveland stuff works and the Lakers stuff. But right now, I mean, I'm getting my top guys on DraftKings are Trey Murphy, Jamal Murray, it's a little scary actually. Memphis is tough sometimes, I don't know. There's such an easy matchup for that for him, but I'm getting him right now. Zach Collins, I'm getting quite a bit. I'm getting quite a bit of LeBron.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why Daniel Gafford specifically, but I'm getting that. And then I have just a bigger projection on him than Sabersim does for some reason.
He's been proven like he's been playing like it off the bench.
Aaron Wiggins, which I hate. Dort. I'll tell you who I like, the Jalen Williams from OKC.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really. I'm only getting a little bit of the Brandon Clark. To answer your question, Brandon Boston, I'm trying to avoid. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to play Ty Jerome. That's kind of what I think I want to do that, but I don't want it to. I don't want him to pop like too much, and then he's going to be like really popular.
Yeah, I'm wishy on him. I would encourage people to actually look at like the game logs and look at the minutes, not just the production. Remember Donovan Mitchell missed the last game where he had a big game, so it wasn't like this is a very, very, very different situation. By the way, Mitchell's put up 63 games in a row that he's played, and no one's playing him tonight apparently. Hey,
let's talk about the Utah Laker game.
Okay, I think LeBron is the one I would feel more comfortable fading. Is my general thoughts. What do you think about this?
Well, let's start with Utah. So so Jordan Clarkson we talked about a bunch. And currently I'm not getting too much, but I'm kind of down with your idea of just doing it, He's played 30 minutes, as we mentioned earlier, 5 games in a row. Mm-hmm. He always seems to want to play extra well or shoot the ball extra much in LA. So I don't know where ownership's going to eventually come in with that. I think it might go down a little bit. So I don't mind that. Other Utah guys, I think this Utah game can be okay. I mean, I'm not really getting to too much, but I want to kind of want to force in a little bit. And then the Lakers side, LeBron or ADM, they're always like kind of good plays. But I would definitely, if Rui is out, I would pound the connect. And I really think it's such a good play that I might want to just kind of leave room for it. I still haven't decided yet. It is a big island game, sort of, so you got to really know what you're doing over there.
Yeah, and I'm just on the side of like again, I worry less about blowouts on these games because everybody, like, the point differential doesn't matter and it's still early enough to where everybody's got a chance pretty much. So but I feel like the LeBron is getting a little too much love, and I'm trying to get less of it. I like the Davis play a lot, though, for what it's worth. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron has a great game. But remember, he just put up those 3 triple doubles in a row, and Rui was gone from. But like even in the triple doubles, like he had I say only 60, but he's 10K. I think he can get 60 out of Donovan Mitchell at 9K. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a guarantee for him to go out there and have to take over like he has. His usage has been sort of sporadic. It's been strange. There's some games LeBron's been like right around 20% usage, and then you get other games where it's 38%. It's really hard to know how it goes, and I would say that Rui being back actually hurts him a little bit as well if he is back.
So you think Rui might? I mean, I don't know why we would think he'd be back or not. You know what I mean? Like he has an ankle, right? And he's missed 3 games in a row.
He's missed. I think it's 2, but I think it's 2.
Was he shoot around? I mean, is there any news? I mean, like.
Everybody's projecting as if he's in right now. That's all I
know.
But it wouldn't surprise
me.
Do
you like him if he plays?
It's fine. It's not like a play I would try to get to. I do like the taking some shots on D'Angelo Russell. There's a lot of good coach speak about it. They like him off the bench now. The trade market may not be the same.
Okay.
They think that his role is very. He's been very impressive and just being a better teammate. The issue is just the minutes with him. And again, if Rui's back, it would certainly hurt him a little bit as well. So yeah, and as MC's pointing out, the Jazz do give up the most threes in the NBA, right along with the Hawks, and that would make Connect a decent play if he can get the run. It's just a matter of whether Rui plays or not, because I'm telling you, the guy's got a ceiling, and we were just starting to see the surface of it. I really, really like this kid.
Wow, SaberSim really cranked up the Ty Jerome projection.
Wow, really? Did they do it out really?
It went from 16. I had him at 16. Now he's 26.
Oh my God, that is a pretty bold projection. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Because the Okoro's out too. I didn't. Yeah, okay.
It's just how are they really going to play out there with 3 guys who are 6'3" or under against the team that was the longest wings in the NBA? Like, are we just assuming that's going to happen? Because that's not been the case. I'm just throwing it out there. I like the Merrill idea to get a little different here. I think his projection is ridiculously low, and I don't agree with it. He's just a guy who can shoot his way into a game, and I think that Niang should be a little higher. I think they're still adjusting, so I'm going to give him a minute to adjust. But again, I would definitely make sure that you want to be at least double digit of both Mitchell and Garland tonight.
Is Merrill definitely in, by the way?
Merrill's in. They announced him in.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm playing more of the lottery night, so I'm willing to take some more. I mean, I'm not playing anything else but the lottery, so I'm just taking more chances. The Strother thing is a very interesting chalk because this guy can play minutes and put up nothing, but he also, as he just showed in, I believe, the last game, he put up 34. We were seeing him get minutes before that, and he played 20 minutes, had 8 fantasy points, at 24 minutes, had 8 fantasy points in another one. There is definitely a path for him not to get there, even without Jokic. And he's no longer looking like the best value, but I'm curious to see once I rebuild things. I think Ty Jerome and Saric look like they're, on paper, the best values out there.
It's funny. SaberSim is saying, you know what? We're giving him a 26 point projection. As a result, we're projecting him a 36% ownership. It's like,
right. And it's going to be.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean,
yeah, of course. The Saric thing is an interesting one to touch on because so this is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. So they're the worst team in NBA history without Jokic on the court this year. They have the worst offensive rating in the history of the NBA. With Jokic on the court, they have the best offensive rating in the history of the NBA. So I think that's incredible. And by the way, last year
I saw that.
It's pretty amazing. Just anybody out there who's trying to argue against Jokic being the best player in the league, I think it's ridiculous. It's literally like arguing against Jordan in the 90s. He's just so far and away the best player in the league. But now I don't think, and the problem is Saric is a better offensive player, but could they shake up their starting lineup tonight just to try something different because they've lost the games without Jokic so far? It's possible. And the unders have come in really heavy on them, but Memphis plays the 3rd fastest pace in the NBA, so it's kind of hard there.
But I think that that's part of that Memphis pace is with Ja on the court, right? I mean,
yeah, but he hasn't played a lot of these games.
Okay.
And they didn't have what's his name, Bain, who loves to push it as well. I'm talking myself into this Bain idea a little bit, and they're asking about PJ Washington because we got a great game out of him, and I made a good call on him one night. I don't think that means I'm going to load up PJ Washington every night. I'm not getting to any of them right now. I don't have an issue with it, but there's nothing that stands out about the matchup or situation that makes me want to go out of my way to play him. He, for what it's worth, yeah, I mean, he just did everything. He made 3 out of his 4 threes. He had 17 rebounds, and it is what it is. And it was a revenge for him from the playoffs last year, where he was dominating that team, and they ended up losing that series on that blocked 3. Bongo Fiesta saying he thinks that the Cavs non-starters might be fool's gold tonight. I kind of see where he's coming from, and I actually don't disagree with that take. But I think taking a shot with Merrill, Merrill's projection's bumping up. I think Merrill's the one I feel better taking a shot with, just because he can shoot himself into a game, and he plays alongside these guys naturally. He fits in there. So I'm not necessarily buying the Ty Jerome thing quite as heavy, and I think his projection it's already come down since we started talking about it. They're down to 25 now, so we'll see what it evens out at. But I would be very surprised if he ends up starting. Take away everything I said, but I don't think he's going to end up starting.
Yeah, I think he'd be better off not to play him. I think you'd better off have him not start.
Yeah, and I can't see a world where they do start him exactly, but maybe. I've seen weird things. If they start Merrill, they started Yang last time this happened, but tonight I could see them starting Merrill. It seems like a better Yang spot than it does a Merrill spot, just because you're going to want defensive wings to guard Jalen, Derek White, all these guys. Like, you're going to end up on these guys no matter what. And Sam Merrill, as much as I like him, is not a guy who's I'm going to call a great defender, where I do think that Yang is a great defender. So no matter how well Merrill's playing, don't be surprised whether he starts or doesn't start. And don't be surprised whether he closes or not. I would only assume he'd be close.
If he's made a couple of threes, they'll let him close. If not, then they won't.
Yeah, or if they're down 5 with a couple minutes to go, he'll be in the game. If they're up 5, he's almost definitely not in the game. That would be my guess, unless he's been really hot. And I don't think the ownership's going to go through the roof on him. I think you're going to see somewhere in the teens. Would be just my guess.
On Merrill, yeah.
Unless he starts, of course. Then you might see a little bit more love for him. It would be sort of breaking what they normally do by starting him, but it's always possible. I would like Niang if he was a little cheaper. He's just a little bit more than I want to spend. What else do we have here? So I'm just looking. I'm going to rebuild my stuff, and I'll sort of say where I'm at. And I was noticing on FanDuel, I actually didn't think that there were that many massive differences on FanDuel today. For what it's worth, you don't really have, even with this news, there's not these incredible values on FanDuel. The best point per dollar play that Saberson has is Jamal Murray at 5.4. And credit to FanDuel for making these. Ty Jerome's 4,900 over there. He's not 4,200.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of him on FanDuel. Yeah.
And remember, the starting lineups are going to be big tonight because we want to see who's Memphis starts. I think it'll probably be Clark. I already talked about that, TJ. I have a little bit of huff, but not trying to make a plan to go do it. I think the sneaky play to get there would be Aldama, but he's got just the widest range of outcomes. He could literally have 10 and he could have 50, and it wouldn't surprise me either way. Hornets. What about that game is definitely getting a slightly lower. Well, it's not that low ownership. Brandon Miller is going to be really popular. I think LaMelo will be double digit. I think that Bridges will be double digits. But I'm not going out of my way. It's if I end up with it, I feel okay with it. But I don't feel like I need to go out of my way to play it. And we do have what's his name, who was questionable earlier, is in. The one guy I am going to be well overweight on there though is I like the Cam Thomas. And I like being over on short air. I think one of those guys puts up a big game tonight. The other one is Ben Simmons, but I don't think that's anything revolutionary. I think he's going to have some ownership too.
You think so?
Yeah. If he starts. And I like him if he doesn't start. I don't really care. Zaire Williams for value on FanDuel. Let's see where I ended up on Zaire. He's not even that good of a value. Look, he certainly can get there. It's not a play that I'm going out of my way to make. If I got completely stuck, I wouldn't hate it, but it's not like off the bench, assuming that he comes off the bench. Now, if he starts, totally different story, but he can dud it up too. And it's not like he's like super value. He's 4,400, not like I would rather try to get to like plays like Ben Simmons at 47. I know they're different positions, but actually, wait, what is he over these? Is he 44? Yeah, he's 44, right? Yeah, I think he's a better play on DraftKings, to be honest with you. But yeah, so yeah, I'm rebuilding here. I'm seeing what it's going to give me here.
It's going to give you all the Ty Jerome. That's what it's going to do.
I don't think so.
On DraftKings, it will.
But I made some changes already, so
okay.
There's a chance that maybe it doesn't happen. I'll think we'll see in a second here. It's about to get there. Okay, what's happening here? All right, let's see. Yeah, it's got Saric as my highest owned player. Ty Jerome, it did give me the 40% of Ty Jerome, so more than maybe I wanted or thought of. What about if we play just Ben Simmons along with Saric at center for the value? I think that makes sense to me. That's probably what I end up doing. Yeah, I think so too. Oh my God, I'm getting a little more of the Wiggins than I want to. I keep trying to cap how much I'm going to get of him, but
you know what? I'm with you on. I'm not into playing all this LeBron.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel quite like we need. I understand it makes it looks okay, but I don't know if I'm all that interested in that. Interesting that he's bringing up that TJ is bringing up Diabate. He's a terrific rebounder. There's nothing wrong with taking a shot there. He's had some big games, but he really doesn't project at all well. And it's like, who are we playing him over? Like, he's barely cheaper than Saric. He's barely cheaper than Ben Simmons, and he's projected to play like 15 minutes. This is probably the worst spot he's been in because we've had people more. I mean, even though they've had, there's been, who do they have out? Never mind, actually. Yeah, they just don't have anybody out, actually. They have Miles Bridges back. So he was getting run with Miles Bridges out more than he has since. And right now, Saberson has him at, let's see what they've got him at minutes-wise. 17 minutes. It's possible he could get there. I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to do it, but that's where I'm at. It's going to be hard. I've never seen a player get 20 rebounds in 18 minutes, but weird things happen. Kevin Love had a game, and people were talking about playing him on a 9-game slate on Friday, and I thought I was losing my mind, or yesterday on an 8-game or whatever it was. Kevin Love is playing like 12 minutes a game, but he puts up like 37 sometimes. He
does.
It's like crazy. But I just can't click on a guy who's going to play 12 minutes. Yeah, I've actually got Clarkson as my second highest owned player now.
And what's good about that is you could screw around if you had to.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the latest game. If it was the first game, I don't think I would end up allowing it to give me nearly this much. The Ty Jerome, and by the way, his projection is continuing to drop, just for what it's worth. Down to 24.9 now. It just like keeps dropping like half a point. It feels weird, the Ty Jerome thing to me, just to be honest. I know he's been very, very, very good this year. He's literally, look at these shooting numbers. They're just out of this world. Like 7 for 8 from the floor, 3 for 3 from 3, 4 for 7 from the floor, 2 for 2 from 3, 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 9 for 15 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. Maybe he's the greatest shooter in history, but I just can't bank on that every night,
No, nobody that come from UVA is the greatest shooter in history.
Who are they? UVA, but I'll tell you what they are all. Every one of them is a good role player in the NBA.
Yeah,
every one of them. They all are very good. Going back to Brogdon. Thoughts on John Collins? I think he's fine, but again another one I am absolutely not going out of my way to get, and I have no issue if I ended up.
I know, but I like him as a player.
You're a little hotter on him than I am. Jamal Murray. I still feel like the Nuggets are at some point going to start scoring some points here.
I guess. I don't know. I don't. I'm not. I just wish I didn't get that much of him.
Okay. But like
I don't want to play. I don't want to play all this Jamal Murray, honestly.
Well, you go. Let's get past Murray, but like the other guys, even Murray's not looking like that popular.
On FanDuel, he is.
What has gone on? What dropped Julian Strother's projection so drastically? Wow. Strother just he looked like the best play on the slate, and now they've got him at just 5x. Everybody's projected about basically at 5x who's going to play for them tonight. So I would say that you get a little different. Play the guys who are going to be lower on. Play the Westbrook. Play the Strother. Play Christian Braun. Play Peyton Watson. Maybe get overweight those guys, and then if you want to fade the Jamal Murray, then you can. I do think that playing those other guys make a lot of sense. Favorite play at each position. I can't even do that. It's going to be all different if the second we hear anybody else is out. I guess right now, for me, I'll just say my highest exposure. Point guard is probably going to be Jamal Murray as my highest owned, whether or not it's liked it or not. Jamal Murray, I'm going to be well over the field on Westbrook as well. At shooting guard, you could use Jamal Murray over there, but I like Cam Thomas and I like Schroeder. One of those two. Small forward. I like Tatum tonight, and I like Jaylen Brown, and I love Trey Murphy, and I'm kind of confused why Trey Murphy's ownership. What happened to my exposure? That's really weird. Whatever they did, it just changed it took away all my min-max exposure. Huh. That's so weird. Power forward. Again, Trey Murphy you can use there. Tatum you can use there. And then center is where I love Simmons and I love Saric. And I like Derek Lively if I'm not going to them. I like Zach Collins if I'm not going to them. So yeah, that's the thing that's hard. Like about the Diabate play. Like, are you really going to play that guy over Derek Lively at the same price? I can't do it.
Maybe.
One guy's going to play 17 minutes. The other guy's at least playing 24.
I guess so, right? Yeah.
And he's playing point guard. Point center, whatever it is. I'm going with it. I'm going with the Simmons personally.
NBA. All right, we're gonna do one more projection update here.
So
there's still no starters here in Cleveland.
No, we don't have official. Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna matter with Ty Jerome though.
I think it'll matter a little bit. Like Craig Porter. Okay, so if you look now, Craig Porter they've got as a 7x play. So maybe there is a starter. No, Merrill's starting. Garland, Mitchell, Merrill, Mobley, and Allen. So it's about to be Sam Merrill. It's gonna look like the obvious one. I don't know what they're doing with the projections. I know that we should wait a little bit, but like some of these numbers jumping. And Ty Jerome, they still got a good projection on him, but Craig Porter, they've got it, at 22, it's 3K flat. So gonna have to figure out what to do with that. All right, let's see who else I put in there. And guys, I'm sorry, I do my core plays, but it's really hard to update all of them as everything goes. So I try to say what I'm going to do, and then I'll post my exposures in the premium Discord at the end of this. But
I'll tell you this: if somehow this game blows out, it won't matter. Actually, I keep forgetting there's the point differential. They'll just keep playing.
But Boston, here's the thing. Here's the argument for Boston. Boston, if they lose, they're out. They're out of the in-season tournament basically because they've already lost to Atlanta at home.
Well, even more to the point, so Celtics they'll keep their guys in. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm wondering if the game does go funky. I mean, Craig Porter at 3K, he'll probably be in there at the end.
I think Craig Porter might be the highest owned player on the slate. If this projection is right, he's the best point. They have at 7x, 7+X. But it does feel a little frisky that maybe.
I think he could play 0 too, though. No, I mean I don't know.
I don't think he can play 0 because.
Does he always plays?
Because he always plays, and they're down guys.
Right.
They're down two bodies that they're used to having. But I don't think he might not play 20 minutes. He might play 12 or something.
just for everybody's edification, I just did push an update, but it doesn't even have the Sam Merrill yet. So
let's check out the Craig Porter projection. It's kind of wild. Sabersim is trying to keep me underneath it too. They don't want me playing all the Craig Porter.
They're trying to save you.
I'm happy about that, but I'd like to find another place to get a little different here. All right.
Let me see what I'm getting. So Ty Jerome off the bench. I wonder how that's going to change things.
I think the Merrill news, once it updates, he's going to look like the best value.
Better than Porter, you think?
Yeah, I think the Porter thing is fishy. It just feels like taking a shot at somebody else who could start. I don't know exactly why it's 7x. Like, it seems too high. And it's still going up, by the way. He's up to 22 now. But yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, Thomas. So are you still playing 40% of the Cam Thomas?
I'm going to make sure to force in a lot of them. I don't know if I'm going to have that much.
Right.
I have a min set of him at 20%. But I actually think these guys, you know, that full 4,700 to 6K rate to 7K range feels very strong tonight. He's got a bunch of news things in, but nothing is about. Trey Man is available. Nobody. Everything else is for Wednesday. Okay, Garland, Mitchell, Mobley. Let's see. I'm going to rerun this thing. I want to see this actual update because I don't believe this is going to be. I don't think Sam Merrill is going to be 4x, and I don't think that Craig Porter is going to be 7.5.
One of the things, though, about the Ty Jerome thing is that, especially in a game like this, it's not like he's ever going to be the point guard. I think that don't they always have like either Mitchell or Garland on the court?
Yeah. I'm not as interested in I think I'm going to be under the Ty Jerome stuff, even though I like him in real life. I think he's a good basketball player. I just have no interest in. If it's really chalky, I'll be well underneath the field on that one. Come on, let's update this Cavs stuff. There, okay, yeah. Ty Jerome's dropping. Sam Merrill's not raised up enough yet, in my opinion. Yeah, this is probable. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. Do you think the rest of the league is beating the Bucks? The Bucks are getting beaten up so bad this year because the rest of the league is just so angry at them for making the Celtics the best team in basketball by getting rid of Jrue Holiday?
Oh, I didn't even think that deep.
I went way down a whole rabbit hole podcast that I was listening to earlier, and they were talking about stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, that actually does make some sense. That would be annoying, you know. And do you know who's had some good games lately? And again, I don't think he's like the worst fantasy guy, but he's actually like a real life basketball. Like he played 28 minutes the other night, had 3 points, but then he put up 36 and then 26, and he's 3,500. That's Josh Green for Charlotte.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not playing him. I'm just throwing it out there that I like.
I wouldn't even think of playing. You know, like
but then nobody ever will. You know, and it was something that I used to notice Osimo would do all the time with his lineups. He would play the fringy guy who he knew was getting minutes, who like no one else would think of, like, oh yeah, that guy's probably getting like 15 fantasy points, and meanwhile there's better value. But if you play him over those and you just get it right a couple times,
right? All right, so let's see what this Cleveland. What does my projections look like relative to the Cleveland to theirs now? So I have. You tell me. I still see Jerome from Sabersim at 25. No.
Yeah, but they've got Porter at 3K at 22 almost.
I see that. I don't know where that's coming from though.
It was a little weird.
Sam Merrill, I still have. I mean, I have 16 points.
Yeah, I don't think this is right with him. I don't think it's updated him. because it hasn't changed since they announced this. It went up like 1 point, but I feel like a starter. And what do they got him for minutes? I mean, they're going to have to play minutes like with your guys. Like, let's see, they've got him at 23 minutes. I'll take the over on that. But again, he is scoring dependent. It depends on how he shoots. I think he plays like 24 minutes minimum. And I think that the upside of like 30.
At 3K, that's
25. Yeah, I think it's enough. I think we just got to take that shot. I don't know. That's my take. Oh, there it goes. Now it's reasonable.
Which one?
Ty Jerome is now at 19. Craig Porter's at 12, and Merrill is at 19 at 3,200. That sounds right. Now I'm on board with this.
What does he have? What do they have Ty Jerome at?
19.
Yeah, I'm splitting the difference. I have him like 21-ish.
Yeah. And
Craig Porter, what do you have Craig Porter at?
They've got him at 12.
I got him at like a 10.
That sounds about right. So then you guys know the name of the game, and then like I'll pop in. I've got a meeting we got a meeting at 7:30. I'm a meeting with the guys, but before that, I'll pop in and just do the late swap, just because some people didn't know how to use it before, so I want to make sure that they just understand how to use it. But obviously, I can't use it as a. Fred saying, "Why am I staring into your souls?" I don't know what he's asked. What that means? I mean, I know what it means in a certain sense. I just didn't know what he's referring to in this case.
What's he asking?
He said, "Why am I staring into their souls?"
Into whose souls? You and mine?
He says that I'm staring into our souls. I think he means like the viewers, but I'm not even looking at my camera. My camera's on the side.
Oh, I don't know.
Or maybe he was referring to the fact that I was just saying that it was wrong or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, this Merrill thing makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, I don't want to play 75% of Ty Jerome. I don't want to play 75% of Craig Porter. I don't want to play 75% of Sam Merrill either.
Yeah. MC's asking about Charles Bassey. I'm sort of more on the Collins side there. I know it's a different price range, but I definitely expect to get to some Bassey, but I don't think it's like Bassey is one of the other ones that you genuinely might like get almost no minutes. There's no reason they have to go big against Oklahoma City. They do not need to play too big a big at all. So I think Bassey has a chance to get a 0, and I think he has a chance to get like 20 something. But I'm not. When I look over there, okay, that's what it is. So when I look over at my other screen, my starting lineups page, that's when I'm staring into their souls, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Does Trey Mann lessen any of the Hornets guys? I didn't have the Hornets guys very high as it was, so I didn't make a huge difference for me. I'm not that on the Hornets myself, but yeah, I guess it makes a worse play out of Miller and a worse play out of Cody Martin, who both were projecting better before he was announced in. So yes, it does make them a little bit worse. Well, now as I reran my last one, Cam Thomas is now my highest owned player. So,
oh, really?
I don't, man. I'll die on the Cam Thomas hill. I'll take my shots with him. I don't mind. I love a guy who's just going to chuck it.
What's his price?
69.
It's a lot, no?
No, I think it's actually too little for him. Well, he's weird though. Like he has the games where he just puts up like he just has a total dud game and then he'll score like 60. So I guess there's no real normal price for him. Like,
right.
I don't know what his price is, but it's really weird that it was not giving me that much of the Cavs. All right. Well,
I mean, in theory, you're supposed to not play that as much of them. It's the first game,
That's true. But again, I don't think that's being accounted for necessarily. Jalen, Jason.
I'm going to put up one more projection update. It's like the annoying thing. You have these guys projected at 21. They are just barely playable, and you give them 23, and they're like 80% owned.
It's like... Exactly right. Okay, so now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me. Yeah, they like the Cam Thomas, by the way. Even if I don't do it, they keep throwing more Cam Thomas at me.
Really?
Yeah. The thing is, I just like a guy who's going to go out there and take 20 plus shots, like most of the time in a great matchup.
Like Clarkson.
But this is an even better matchup, and he's a much more integral part of their offense. Their offense is basically just between Schroeder and him. Ben Simmons will get assists and whatnot, but he's not.
Sure. Yeah, Ben Simmons is not shooting.
Yeah.
He knows what's good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, the weird part is, what if not? What if he's just a stubborn jerk and he actually is a good? I mean, this guy led this nation in scoring. He was a shooter. Like, it makes no sense his career.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever happened is Markelle Fultz still in the league?
Markelle Fultz is. I think he's hurt this year right now, so but he'll play in the league the rest of his career. He's fine as a player. I always thought the hype was a little too high on him, but
no, I mean, like when he was in college, he wasn't like the worst shooter in the world, and then he came into the NBA and became like a freaking meme. I mean, like,
I know. But there's a lot of what you hear about shooting is very strange. Like, people are talking about Harden as like the greatest shooter ever. When Westbrook won the MVP over Harden, everybody was arguing like, oh my God, but Westbrook is just doing this, these padding stats, and he can't even shoot and all this stuff. And I'm like, that year from 3-point range, James Harden shot 36%. He shot 35%. Like, what are we really talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm doing one more rebuild.
I'm doing one more too, and I'll let you guys know what I end up with. But it's probably going to be way too much of somebody. I just don't know. Wait, you know what? I could always manually cut it back if I feel like it. This is the United States of America still.
It is.
That's
You
what
don't
I've
have to
heard.
do it anything. Is it though? No, I'm just kidding.
I think it is.
Is it? I thought it was until the last 8 years or so.
Now I'm getting all this Dario Saric again.
Yeah, I think that's the one I think is going to be the most popular, and I totally understand why, as long as he starts. Okay, let's see. So with doing nothing, wow, they really want to push this Wiggins. Jesus, his projection has gone way up.
Wiggins?
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Yeah, I'm getting a ton of Clarkson again. Okay. A ton of Cam Thomas.
But I'd rather you get a ton. I'm telling you, I'd rather you get a ton of the Clarkson than
yeah, you can
so much of the Clevelands.
Yeah. I get it. You're right. It's, the weird part is I like Wiggins as a real life basketball player, but I don't want to have 50% of him tonight.
No, I know. Whenever I'm waiting for him to do something, then he's like off the court, and then like he's not closing, and then sometimes he is, and it's like I don't know. It's like
you've got two really high usage guys with Shea and Jalen already there.
Yeah.
And it's not like he gets a chance to really create or do anything. I mean, look at his just like you'd like to see 1 or 2 30s in there at some point.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna get going.
Okay.
Hope to see you guys at or near the top of the leaderboard.
Yep.
And this is definitely, remember watch for the Rui news just for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
And be there for late swap. And I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Have a good night. And guys, I'll pop in again in about 30 minutes just to do a little late swap, and then I'm gonna I'll post my exposure in Discord.